Today, of course, is all about survival and a shot to play at the Inspire Arena. This will come down to Sentinels versus Fnatic, Team Heretics versus DRX, and day 5 of the Champions Seoul playoffs elimination day starts right here, right now.
কি হচ্ছে ভাই বারবার ট্র্যাক করার শেয়ার দে ফার্স্ট শেয়ার দে আমরা শেয়ার দেবো তো আন্টা শেয়ার দিতে পারবি নাহলে আমাকে এ শেয়ার দিতে হবে দাঁড়া আমি দিচ্ছি দাঁড়া
언제 또 있을지 모르기 때문에
나라.
챔피언스 홈그라운드에서 퍼시픽 그리고 한국 팀인 저희가 우승하는 그림을 꼭 보여드리고
তুই কি আমাদের শেয়ারটা শেয়ার করবি
Just like in Shanghai, we dropped down to the lower bracket, but we all know how Shanghai went.
আচ্ছা না তাহলে আমি এটা দেব না আমি বলছিলাম যে তোকে তোর কি বলে টুইচটা দেব তাকে ইউটিউব দিতে হবে
진지에게 빼앗겼던 것처럼 이번 경기에서도 저희에게 질 수도 있기 때문에
When I was first starting out Valorant, I used to watch a lot of Mako. I'm happy that I get to play against someone that I copied from at the start of my career and kind of prove that I'm just as good.
হ্যাঁ দেখা যাচ্ছে তো ল্যাগ করছে ছেড়ে দে আমি দিচ্ছি দাঁড়া
저희 코리아 그리고 퍼시픽의 위상을 조금 더
কি বলে তোর এই
더 열심히 노력하는 것도
ঠিক আছে আজকে বাড়ি আসবি না কালকে থেকে স্ট্রিম করবি তুই
Mako, you've got the home crowds, but I'm still going to be.
তাহলে আজকে স্ট্রিম করবি না কালকে করবি তাহলে
It's a tough position.
Playing with one life left doesn't really bother me. We have to play a lot more matches
আজকে
now,
আমি
but
অফিসের
that
ল্যাপটপ
could
নিয়ে
be a
খেলবো
blessing for us because we will get
আজকে
more
আর বৃষ্টিতে
ready,
যেতে
we'll
পারছি
get
না ভালো
more
লাগে
pumped for now.
We definitely play better under pressure. The whole year is kind of testament to that. We've been in very difficult situations, but we have always been able to come true and
আরে ও
like,
সব
fight
সময়
back.
টাইম আউটে ঘুমিয়ে পড়ে
Sentinels, they beat us first time in first Reykjavik event. We also beat them at lock-in. Right now, all we need is to get 13 rounds against every team and proceed to the finals.
Fnatic, we've both been here before. We both lifted trophies. Let's give the fans the best matchup yet.
I'm coming for you, Zazis. I'm gonna make you sit down.
কি মনে হচ্ছে কে জিতবে আজ
ভাই সেন্টিনেল জিতবে ফ্যানাটিকের ওই মুডটা নেই আর
মুড নেই ভাই ডার্কে যদি চলে শোন আজকে যদি ডার্কে চলে কারো বাপের ক্ষমতা
এ অর্ণ একটা কথা বলছি শোন না তুই না
বল না
মিটিং এ চলে যা ভাই তুই থাকলে শালা সেন্টিনেল ছাড়তে থাকে
আমি বললেই সেন্ট্রাল হেরে যাবে দেখবি
তুই কাজ কর না
দেখবি
না
দেখবি সেন্ট্রাল হেরে যাবে যা ফ্যানাটিক জিতবে 2-1 হবে যা ফ্যানাটিক 2 সেন্ট্রাল 1
The stakes
is high, but এই দেখেছিস এই দেখেছিস এই কেলটে মালটা এই মালটা জিতেছিল এই যে এই মালটা এই যে আরে মোটা না রে বাবা ও আগে জিতে পারফরম্যান্স কোচ ছিল পারফরম্যান্স কোচ মানে ও কি করে প্লেয়ারদের মানে বলে যে তোমাদের মেন্টালি কেমন স্ট্রং থাকা উচিত তারপরে এই যে এই মালটা এই নিগ্রো মালটা বলেই দিলাম সরি ফর দ্যাট তো যাই হোক এরা এ আগে জিতে ছিল একে এখন ফ্যানাটিক
to me the more I'm looking at it that they potentially wanted Fnatic to pick into Lotus potentially get a favored map pool at the first part of the series
I mean one of the crazy things is Fnatic are kind of weak on a set but nobody
তো
else
যাই হোক তুহিন বললো 2-0 সেন্টিনেল আমি বললাম 2-1 ফ্যানাটিক
no one feels confident picking Abyss into Sentinels
দেখি তোর বৃহস্পতি ভারী না আমার শনি ভারী
so in the end you end up on these 3 maps that are actually fairly decent for both teams but Sunset's kind of like a bit of a
এই কালকে সানসেটে যেভাবে ধুয়েছে ইডিজি ঠিক আছে সেন্টিনেল কে
So that's going to be a wobbly start for both teams to get their footing, and I think
কালকে যেভাবে ধুয়েছে
stabilizes early.
And they're starting on defense as well. So Fnatic have chosen the attack for Sunset. And there's a couple of things I'm going to be looking at, in particular for Sentinels, I think, that they correct and fix. Number one is prioritizing B main control. I think they need to have some different looks where they either fight over B main control rather than improve their players for A main all the time on their defense. There's something that Fnatic like to do when they play on this map, which is inserting hero early, and then they go back and go into BXX once they pressure their other areas of the map. If Sentinels pull out some, like, 1 minute on the mark re-clears of B main to punish hero, that could be really strong as well. But that entire area of the map needs to be a focus, and
no more neon.
They've
no
moved
more
back.
neon.
This comp, yeah, this is a comp that they used to play. They were dominating in scrims as well, ahead of Madrid with this comp.
কালকে যাইবল জোকস অ্যাপার্ট সেন্টিনেল কিন্তু ফার্স্ট ম্যাপের পর অনেক ওভার কনফিডেন্স হয়ে গেছে
prior composition. I mean, this is crazy. It throws prep.
বিশাল ওভার কনফিডেন্স হয়ে গেছিল আমি যেটা দেখলাম
I agree with that, but it's also a pretty heavy retake style on their defense. So it probably means that they're not going to make the adjustments that you're talking about, where they lock off A main or B main early. They're probably still going to hold back.
মানে সেন্টিনেল কালকে রীতিমতো সানসেটের ম্যাচটা থ্রো করেছে সানসেটের ম্যাচটা পুরো থ্রো করেছে
once again to overpower Fnatic's post plans.
Yeah, and this to me looks like the Sentinels wanted to completely throw Fnatic's prep off guard as well, which means this map is going to be very, very interesting.
guys দেখেন কালকে কুত্তার মতো মারছিল দেখেছিস এতে ওই হেভেনে
Pansy and Steel.
মুভমেন্ট দেখেছিস নিয়ন নিয়ে
Thank you so much. This series is going to be exceptional. These
গ্যারাজের ওখানে পিক নিয়ে
met around the world, from the likes of Sao Paulo over to Reykjavik and now in Seoul. It is time to lock the fuck in. We got a game on our hands. Fnatic against This is gonna be nuts.
This one is gonna be one of those matches where you have that structure, the methodical play versus the confident, unpredictable X factor of Sentinels. What a better map to start it off on than Sunset, a map where neither of these teams really play this all too often. We're gonna wait to see what's in store.
Deep breath.
ভাই এনিডেস কেন করিস ভাই কুইক অ্যাসিস্টই তো আছে না বালের এনিডেস
We've got two of the best players so
পুরো
far.
উইন্ডোজের জিনিস ইউজ করিস উইন্ডোজের ইংলিশ কেন ইউজ করিস না ভাই
Leading the fray.
কুইক অ্যাসিস্ট আছে হাইফার ভি আছে
And in identical roles. The little switch here of the composition from Sentinels could put Fnatic on the back foot. Certainly shocked the desk a touch. And now we wait and see, has the prep gone out the window? A Fnatic now left.
Sentinels giving up that A site and the B site, looking to do that mid collapse, which means we're probably going to see a 5-man 5 versus 5 retake unless Sentinels tries to press the issue a little bit early here. They have lots of characters with flashes. They have the KO, the Gecko, and the Paranoia from Tens, but here comes the 5 versus 5. Smokes are down for the attackers in a few more seconds here, and the retake is going to be on.
But the first blood is drawn by Hero. Now, patience being shown again from Sen. Cautious steps forward, trying to clear through by elbow. You can see where the vast majority of Fnatic sit.
2 flashes ready.
They're waiting for him. First contact made. Site being swarmed. Sentinels looking for a body to drop, and the shots aren't landing this time. It's John QT to answer back. They've got sight, but they don't know about Hero. Pressure from the back lines! 3 for him, eyeing up his 4th. And John QT can only dodge for so long! Fnatic with the first! Sen, unable to land the retake.
Sen don't know if they're ready for this rude awakening, facing off against Hero, I guess the X factor of their own for Team Fnatic coming in pretty recently.
সিরিয়াসলি বলছি মানে অন্যদিন আমার লিটারালি কাজ থাকে আমি কালকে রাতে কাজ মিটিয়ে রেখে যদি খেলা দেখবো বলে বিশ্বাস করো
falls to Fnatic, a slow contact into that site.
এখন আমাকে ডিস্টার্বও করবে না.
Use the paint shells in that post plant, but Sentinels trailing by 1.
আউট হয়ে যাবে লোয়ার ব্র্যাকেটে
ভাই G2 তো আবার ফাইট আছে না
And a similar start to the
G2 বেরিয়ে গেছে কবে
setting up mainly for that mid fight to re-clear. They have just classics here, so waiting potentially for Fnatic to start maybe looking through middle,
EDG
getting
সাথে
Boaster
level
involved in that
খেলা
position, Hero as well. They've done these splits, they've done these inserts before, but right now Fnatic's not going for it. First round it's A, second round it's B, and another 5 versus 5 retake is going to be on the horizon here. Sentinel's in a position, if they want to, they can flood out quickly.
They're looking to maybe springboard off the contact here, but Alpha standing on guard. That's second gone and tens. Sen now down to 3. Again, it is just classic, so they're looking to do any sort of damage they can.
আমিও খেলতে পারি পড়া আছে ঠিক আছে চোদে পড়া আছে
Clean work, a flawless round here for Fnatic.
এক্সপেক্ট করব এই যে কি বলতো মানে খুব
Flawless round.
কুইক এজের মানে কুইক এজের মানে তাতে তো
Sentinels
স্মোক করতে হবে নালে বড়া
early in the game they have a kill. That's
আরে
on John
ওবির সাথে তো
QT. If they
একসাথে
want
যা
to
যা
be able
হয়েছে
to
ঠিক আছে
get their footing in, they are a team that plays off that momentum, off that
পিটের এই সাইডে
confidence,
অ্যাস্ট্রাল
off
মোডে
the
বসে আছে
individual
আমাদের সামনে
prowess.
দিয়েছে নাইফ করে চলে
But
গেছে
it needs to start with
আমরা
a
হাঁ করে
big
বসে
round. This would be a perfect round to be able to set the tone. 5 players with light shield and Hero purchasing an outlaw.
Yep. That could be devastating. Again for Sen, they do need to get the ball rolling here. It's been a tough start for them.
তুই এটা নিয়ে নে তোর এই ফ্যান্টমটা নিয়ে নে গায়া ফ্যান্টম এসেছে তোর কি হু নিয়ে নে ভাই ভালো তো
And here comes
কি
the
তোর
middle
মতন
advancement that Fnatic
তিনটে ফ্যান্টম
likes to
এসেছে
do.
10টা না
Sentinels
ভাই
was trying to set up for it in the previous rounds. It never came. But this is the round. Durka, Boaster, both slipping the net. They're trying to do a split on B site.
With a high-low setup in market, could still find masses of value. You look at Zekin, you look at John QT. Zekin in a wonderful position, but a very uncharacteristic missed shot. And hands. The crunch coming in now. Wrapping around Zelsis in drop. Oh my god, so much trouble. Who the hell is this Fnatic? Because
এটাও না ফ্ললেস বেরোয়
I'm a little surprised. I thought that nice little setup in market could have really rewarded Sentinels here, but no, it's down to the last 2 who aren't really encouraged to go for this now.
That high-low setup. Sentinels is looking very static at the moment, sitting in this, waiting for something, almost as if they sat there preparing for this map from Fnatic, looking at what they do and trying to maybe do a mind game, an anti-strat,
কোনো ইউটিলিজ করে at least পয়েন্ট আউট ওদের ফুল শিল চলে আসবে
come to expect them when they try to know exactly what's going on and they try to get ahead of it, try to 1 versus 5
চলে আসবে বাট খেলবে না
right now, stick into their guns, stick into the setup.
0 টাকা আর স্যাসি 200 টাকা
Nice for Sasi there.
এবার স্যাসি এ করবে
feel out the game, feel like
চিল
you have a
করবে
bit of
কিল
impact.
পেয়ে গেছে
And of
200
course he gets
400
to keep the rifle. The other 3 now. This was the bonus for Fnatic. We'll probably want to keep these. There's not too much of a need to chase. You've got to look at Durka as well.
এই মালটা সেরা খেলে
there.
ক্রনিকল মালটা
I can't believe, though, it's going into round 4, and we're looking at Chronicle and Boaster combined 1 ultimate orb between the 2 of them. All the kills so far has been on Hero and Durka and Alpha, and that's where the plants have been going as well. 2 of those are really good ultimates for them to have.
And good job, Alpha. I was waiting for your flash. Good comes. That's fine.
Now is the time. Yeah, Sasi gets a couple of kills as he's trying to save his weapon, but knowing that they can get some shots back is going to be important enough to be able to utilize.
Hero এর জায়গায় এসেছে হিরো আলফা জার হিরো এর জায়গায় এসেছে হিরো লিওর জায়গায় এসেছে লিও এখন
That's what we're talking about. Sasi with a quick 2 in middle, already doing so much damage, catching them by tiles. It gives them a huge advantage. However, unrecoverable weapons, that would have been lovely to get to hand. Maybe supplement the remainders that they had left over. Again, Zelsis, John QT and Zekin still on those sheriffs, but it's tens on the corner. Boaster potentially on the chopping block. And is going to respect that and fall back step by step.
Keeping in mind here that 3 players from Sentinels have sheriffs. Hero gets his hat off and get the information. This 3v5 is winnable. Right now it's a 3 versus 4 in the A site.
Again, another step back. Not getting what he wanted, but feeling brave enough to go back in. And that's why. Big pick up on Alpha there. And now they slow the roll. Sasi in unison. This is what Sentinels needed. As Hero gets caught, Sentinels. Responding guys, get the upgrades and get their first here.
A flawless, nonetheless, to open up their first round, the round that they need on the board to be able
ভালো জিনিসটা কপি করেছে বুঝলি তো খারাপ জিনিসটা কপি করেছে
হয়তো টেন্স তো স্ট্রিম দেখতে আসে
ওটাই
তো বললো মারাটা
fourth round. And now, feeling maybe like,
let's go,
hey,
boys. Let's get
we called this for a reason. We prepped like this for a reason. Finally, we get the payoff of it. Now, are we going to see something different from Sentinels? Or are they going to keep running with the same sort of mid thing?
Copy get the
same types of play.
এখন গার্ডিয়ান চালাবো ভাই, সারা দিন গার্ডিয়ান চালাবো।
কি কিনেছিস গার্ডিয়ান? ও
রিকন গার্ডিয়ান। হ্যাঁ ভাই স্মুথ চালাবি দেখবি।
অনেক তোর অ্যাকাউন্টটা দিস থাকবে।
Very early Thrash to re-clear the space, thinking that Fnatic was going somewhere.
I was looking at Zek and then it looked like he was getting really interested through market, maybe taking a glance to clear behind the ult, but sees nothing with
মেসেজ করতে পারছি না বড়, চুপটা শুয়ে আছিস না
position once you use that knife on
হ্যাঁ
the
বল
with
বল
all
বল
negative Thrash. Those are the only abilities to get information. There's no darts
stream
or
কেউ
drones or
দেখছে
prowess
না।
like
আমি
most
দেখছি
other
ওর
teams run
স্ট্রিম
on this
কতটা,
map.
চোদাবি না কান্ট্রি।
Take 2, he sees 3. So they know that Fnatic was leaning towards A, but still with a minute on the clock, Fnatic could decide to go somewhere else. It's very difficult for Sentinels to be able to break this setup right now.
আজকে আমি আমি দেখছি ওই সার্ভারে আমার ভয় কেউ বসে নেই, ঠিক আছে? সবাই প্রাইভেট চ্যানেলে বসে, শুধুমাত্র আমার ভয়।
Rolling Thunder as well for that post plant. If they get into the site for free here, it's going to be safe for Alpha. And as soon as Sentinel starts to flood in, Alpha's going to pop that in reaction.
So we're getting low on time. And if Tens can take a player down, so close. Look at the HP on Dirk. Tens almost had him out of the air. Has to back away as the site will now be under Fnatic.
Hi,
Need a
2
ball
HP.
here, which they should get. And
2 HP Dark.
Does Sen pick up the pace? Do they look to pressure now? The paranoia came in, the flash went through in the boom bot, but they found nothing for it yet. I'm looking at the lurk as well. John QT's position. Divine. Let's wait though, as already Durka going to find Tens controlling the site for a second with 2! And he's back on it now! You've got the ult coming through, Sussy sets up Dizzy, John QT, the lurk comes in perfectly! As Alpha left in a 1v4, he's been found! The IGL taking the reins here, John QT leading by example.
A very big mistake there coming out of Team Fnatic. They go on the site for free. They have to understand something's going to come in, and how are they going to manage that post-plant positioning? They had that Rolling Thunder, and Alpha was positioned for no one dealing with that flank. That is not good enough, and Sentinels takes another round. That is one rounds here. They're very sharp, very different from those first couple of rounds that they were showing when they were doing this.
It's the perfect example.
এই কালকে এমন বলে দিয়েছি সেন্টিনেল হেরে যাবে, সত্যি হেরে গেছে। এই ব্যাপার থেকে একটা খফ আছে ওদের।
মানে তুই ভাব তুই কতটা অপয়া।
না ভাই
and a very different look to begin with.
প্রেডিকশন বলে, এটাকে প্রেডিকশন বলে। অপয়ার কি, আমি বলে দিয়েছি হেরে যাবে।
To challenge behind the one way, and we can see where Fnatic are residing. Durka and Alpha just around the corner. Tens will show his position. Force Fnatic to have to invest util now to re-clear this space. Actually, hold on, there's commitment! Second swings off the back of the paranoia. And that is a devastating duo to be holding that push up on A. Lovely synergy, and they've done well to get the first.
Stalled out, 1 minute remains on the clock. Fnatic can't break through A. They've used so much as well. They've used a drone in that position. They've used stun, a flash. Now they're down their duelists as well. Looking to pivot over towards B, but Sentinels, they stave that off with just 2 players. Their main defense is towards that B side. They got the trips there. They got the triangle setup.
I feel like John QT's getting such a good read of this as well. That camera is going to give away the game.
Boaster through middle. Is he going to catch Zek in here?
Well, timing is everything. Boaster. Oh! It wasn't pretty, but it will get the job done.
Heroes walk out B as well.
It's Alpha though to get the reward. He's still pushing through. The site under contest. Hero getting further than maybe they'd expect, but market is still an issue. Sen have bodies here. Alpha not completely clean on the cross, and John gonna catch him. Hero trying to work forward. It's Boaster with 1, and now down to the 1v1. But with 8 seconds, they're so low on time, and the mosh. Hero has to go through it. He gets it, and he's gonna get the plant. Sussy isn't gonna be able to swing in time. Spikes down, but is he ready for the fight?
The cage.
It's perfect to give him a moment of respite. Spotting the cam and spotting the player. Sussy, the one to set this in motion, sets him up to draw the scoreline all even.
That was a very chaotic round. I'm surprised Fnatic was able to bring it back the way they did. The 4 versus 5 pivoting over and getting really just in every little corridor they could. Heroes walking out, B boosters going through the spawn smoke and catching Zekin on the sideline. That opening duel, the trade of utility at A, right now Fnatic not finding their way into the round.
Are ওই মেলটারে authentication declared enable multi-factor authentication for your 10 and by 15th October.
What happens though when Sentinels tries to give them any sort of resistance? They're losing players, they're losing time, they're losing resources, and now they're losing steam.
ওটা কিছুই না না, ওটা জাস্ট MFA enable করে দিতে হবে সবার জন্য, তাই তো? মানে মানালে মাইক্রোসফট নিজে নিজেই করে দেবে, তাই তো?
But it all starts with getting a clean opening again. Sentinels changing up also what they're doing on their defense at the start of the rounds. These first few rounds, all for that double kill on tiles from Saucy on round 4. After that, though, they abandon that and they're doing dynamic setups, different things every round.
And it plays to their strength, though. It's very hard to get a constant read on Sentinels when they play like this. Again, just that couple more steps forward, that willingness to challenge over towards A between the likes of Zekin and Tens there. They're not the highlights on the scoreboard, but what they did that round was get the first pick, cost them so much utility from Fnatic. It was lovely. So seeing that versatility, that variety, it really encapsulates what Sentinels are fantastic at. Now Fnatic needs to come up with a solution. They need to come back in with a plan. That's what the timeout's for. Let's see what they've cooked up here. Still with a purchase, but like Shields, still going to be suffering in that regard. Money now changing hands completely. The bank behind Sentinels.
So far, Fnatic's been opening up relatively slow. They've been spreading across the map, trying to figure out which way they want to go. They haven't been going early towards middle since they got killed on their first double kill. But again, they haven't been taking B main by force yet. It's all been towards middle on this like 20-second into the round interval. Market door closed. Sentinels is giving up middle. They have that full control over A again. Chronicle gonna solo push off this area. This is a fake though.
You saw that instantly Saucy had to turn around and support again. It looked like he wanted to go back towards top middle, but the timing on the owl drone forcing him to stay committed. Still, the cam towards top middle.
Hey, কি বলে তো
he can keep a beat on if anyone is slipping through. Trying to eye it up. Durka looking for it.
করি বলতে তুমি নাম্বারটা ডিলিট করে দিও এই মেটার।
Almost shutting down on one. Zekin looking for a body. Can't get it. It's Chronicle to connect. So the mid fight continuing. And do they re-aggress here, Sen?
Not enough util. Fnatic.
He gets overwhelmed. He gets run over. I thought he could have stopped this divide now invested. Zelsis? You're a brave boy, Zelsis. He's going back in for more. He wants seconds. One attempt wasn't enough. Working at the back of the Dizzy. I don't think they know he's here. Zelsa with the opportunity to do some serious damage.
Wait a minute.
And he's doing it. Back-to-back impact.
prediction
Go for an ace. He's read Chronicle's position. Zelsis is absolutely reading this, but the timing not there. Chronicle, safe pair of hands as ever for Fnatic.
And a beautiful switch up as well from Fnatic off the back of that timeout. Don't know exactly what was discussed, but as you see Durka walking up middle with Boaster, he's staring upwards at that camera. They know something's up. And is this the time where the mind games start coming into play? Where both teams are against each other for this map. Sentinel's picking it, and I mean, Fnatic hasn't really had that many reps on it. They only brought it out at the end of stage 2.
Let's focus up. Yeah, thank you.
Seems like maybe the communication's getting a little bit sporadic here. But we're seeing the off-up now on Zekin. First time we're seeing it this game.
We haven't seen too much of the operator making impact, at least in some of the previous series. Nice to see that maybe an answer to what they believe Fnatic are trying to do.
Right here. রাইট বাডি হলো এখন বেস প্লে যদি জানতে পারে ব্যান করে দেয়, হয় ব্যান করে দেয় নালে রাইট বাডিটা ওটা রোল আপ করে দেয়। বাজে শটটা ইউটার কাছে তো আছে। ইউটা বললে কিছু হবে না, তো এখন তো আগে তো তাও যারা স্ট্রিম করতে ভালো না না করে টপ তৈরি করতে না তাদেরকে দিত, এখন ওটা বন্ধ করে দিয়েছে।
Nothing to connect so far. Still five alive on both
regional
sides.
event হলে
still no spike plant. 40 seconds, but the gap is closing right now. Saucy is on the backlines in market, but now that the ultimate's gone from KO, abilities are back online for the attackers.
Doomer moto maar khela dekhle ar hoyni.
Nice one.
Sarsi both here. Pain Shell is perfect. It's going to do so much. Force them away. Alpha gets the fight and he gets the kill as well. Plant now in play. Durka defending. Takes away tens. But second with the impact through on CT. Looking to re-clear. This could be magic for that man. But it's Chronicle still alive. Stelsis takes another. But a 1v2. Chronicle the hero from before. Again. Reposition staying close. Sentinels taking no risks here. But a fair fight back. Trade in place. Again.
These rounds are coming down to the wire. We're seeing clutches coming out into play here. Situations if they can get it down to 2 versus 2s, that's where they like to excel. And yeah, we're looking at Fnatic as well. They're no joke at it when they have players like Hero. They have players like Chronicle and Alpha. Some of these Sentinel players involved in these. They love it. They live for it. Nice little stall out in the middle of the round off the back of that players. Stalled out.
Operator changing hands over towards tens now. Fnatic focusing towards the B main approach, leaving just Poster split towards tiles. You can see if they take the space towards A main again.
And a shift of Fnatic's opening. They've not really been using the start of the last round as well, usually towards middle, towards A. Here, fully ignoring it, they have that space at B main, trying to shock out whatever trips are here to potentially cause an overreaction from Sentinels or soften it up and end with a B split later in the round. But eyeing up that A main, they want to come back, they want to re-clear this. It's tens this time with the operator. He's on this deep line, he's got backup this time with Saucy.
Time for brilliance. And an opportunity missed there. A very heads-up jump on the corner just to make sure. They now identified the operator is here. This is enough to send them away.
Hero just with classics right now. It's so imperative that they can find a way to group up right now and play together. The trades are going to be so difficult to get into play with these classics, but here is the market split. They were trying to set this up earlier, trying to shock the trips early. Closer in Chronicle. And he gets the kill with the
Okay, the classic and it's the Bulldog this time? John QT has been stalwart in approach holding that B site. Chronicle gets the better of Zelsis. Tens can't even get a second in the round. Leaving Sarsi, who was probably identified over towards that A site very early on.
চ্যান্সিটাকে বড় কিল দিয়ে দিয়ে চ্যাম্পিয়নটা জ্বালাচ্ছে আমাদের
have pretty much gone here. And as if that's how they stick the landing, Josh, I didn't see that's how Fnatic was going to get back in with a classic kill and a Bulldog on B side. Sarsi.
Well, won't be a flawless round. Not again. Saucy trying to save his rifle again. This is the second time that he'd be going for it, but Fnatic again taking the lead. Another really clean round from them. It's been a few of these back and forth. It's either a big flawless round in the side of, you know, one of the teams or the other, with the Fnatic getting the first few of them, then Sentinels fighting back with a few of their own. Then it came down, we had a few of these really close rounds, these clutches that were coming into play, and now a switch up again.
And when we were talking earlier, just to kind of take a moment while Sentinels have called a tactical timeout, the man on the screen there, Chronicle, at the start of the series, it was mostly Alpha, Durka, and Hero having impact. Chronicle has stepped up as well. As said, he's a big game player. He's the one who's one of the most decorated players in this, and he's been getting them 2 kills, 3 kills, key kills in these rounds. He's been keeping them on their toes here. Sentinels now, though, time to reconsider their approach, potentially.
When we look at players like Chronicle, he is always going to be on that drone. He's going to be the 3rd, 4th player in. So if Durka gets to run in and he's backed up by whomever it is, whether it be Boast or Alpha in certain situations, if they get all the kills there and it's a flawless round, Chronicle can't get involved. When these games start getting a little bit sloppier, when it comes down where Durka goes 1-for-1, gets traded out, and the rounds get into these 3v3, 2v2s, that's where we're going to start seeing Chronicle being more involved in the situation. And he is one of the, as you said, most decorated players. He's lived for these moments. Every SOPA player, he basically gets into these situations every time they play the game.
And I love seeing it as well. Sarsi on the other side of Sentinels, one of the greats too. He knows what it feels like to lift these sort of trophies, and he's towards the top end of the board here. 10 for him as well. but the buy is now shaky. They're going to be Guardians, there's going to be Bulldogs, there's going to be Light Shields. It's not what they would have ideally wanted to come in with, but we're seeing Zelsis maybe set up second here, but showing early interest towards B main. Going to keep Fnatic having to cautiously clear invest utility to force this man away. And he deserves the respect after the performance he's put in. Flash will re-clear again, but we know that Fnatic are willing to run the clock down, but he is going to continue to test their mettle.
Full group towards B main. Fnatic looking like they want to punish the next re-aggress coming in from Sentinels, expecting potentially a pop flash from that KO and a re-aggress, but it's not going to come in. Now they peel off. But the way that they're staying in these positions, both are controlling middle, they're leaving Hero and Dirk both towards B main. It looks like it's a fake re-clear towards A. They've done this before with that drone, but they'll have the flash, the stun as well. But Sentinels creeping into middle, getting down.
Isolate. Okay, I didn't see that one coming. He was playing with it. Yeah, and he's read it correctly. There are two more plays. The timing, he looks away. And we put to bed, put to his grave. They've got a good read on this, and there comes Chronicle. This man's impact is off the charts. The hat ult as well should reveal a lot of information. This could be the go signal for Durka to take some space. You're looking at the vast majority of Sentinels trying to focus up towards market, slip away towards CT,
space
find
created.
a bit of safety.
Chronicle up middle. It's just the camera to spot him, but he's not going to pop that camera at this stage in the round. Chronicle.
But they've got to buy time. They still have to keep them present here, keep them locked in towards market. Durka and Alpha in unison. And now you got to look for the lurk here. Chronicle can now pull the trigger. He can get closer. They're none the wiser. They have no idea of the creeping death behind. No! Outrageous! And if John QT's alive, is there hope? The 1v1 between the young gun and the IGL of Dreams.
The camera on the spike, though, as soon as John QT taps that, he's going to get tagged by the camera, and Hero will have a perfect opportunity to spam him.
There's no way. Heroটা পেছন থেকে হিরো বলছি কে জানো পেছন থেকে গিয়ে হেপু লেগে দিয়েছে
He is normally on for it, but it doesn't matter. The time is gone, and Fnatic stretch their lead.
Back and forth, sloppy or clean. It's back-to-back. Sentinels and Fnatic trading out these rounds where one team goes huge and it makes it a really clean round, and in the next round it's a sloppy, comes down to the wire, the 1v1. Boaster getting that first opening pick, that was huge. The rest of his team comes and collapses. Boaster almost, the reason why he turned away was because Hero was actually coming back and spotting that angle for him. They slipped the net, but couldn't get away.
And you've got to feel if John QT had more time on that, that could have been, oh, who knows, who knows?
Nice clutch,
Fnatic,
it's nice camera, brother.
Yeah, it's consecutive rounds. We've got a couple of ults here. Alpha's online, as is Chronicles. You do have Zekken with a showstopper, Stinger in hand, and, well, to say the least, it's a stack. 4 players from Sentinels. Going for a deeper look here. Zekken just turns away. There was a play around here. You know what's in hand. I mean, I don't know if that was worth it for Kron. Gonna let that fade away.
That's a big investment from Sentinels. They're showing their hand as well. B site is wide open for the taking. Fnatic cannot miss this timing. Right now, it's just a couple of trips for that push through from Fnatic to push into spawn, to push into market. But they don't need to do that. They got that rolling thunder. They can play out of the site once they get that spike planted. But Sentinel's already in position to come and deny this plant. The Alpha.
And look at Sarsi though, he's crept further forward. They don't know about Sarsi. And you gotta know about this man, 10 kills already, he's dead! Hero holds the line. And now John QT and Zelsis' options become near on null. Durka gonna be hungry for this, he's going hunting! He's having his dinner. John QT, once again last alive and very few options. It's time to back away.
And again, sticking to the theme of the game, Fnatic pick up another round, 4 alive on the board, and John QT has to save again. This is the 3rd or 4th time Sentinels has to do a save. Saucy was in a couple of those situations, trying to recover that rifle for the following round, because if you look at their credits, basically nothing. Full control is Team Fnatic, and I'm pretty sure Chronicle is also either on Hunter's Fury or close to it, where he can have it in this next round. The combo with the Alpha's Rolling Thunder as well is going to be very tough to deal with, and Sentinels, they've shown some grit in some of these rounds with some of the retakes, with some of their aggressive fights towards A main especially, but these rounds towards B have not been looking super clean for them or close at all.
This is a bit of a turning point here. Got a little bit worried that could have been the downfall, actually, giving over a big opportunity, but even with setting that rotation position, even getting to the site so early, I just love the fact we are getting to see 2 of some very, I guess, respected IGLs in that role. Great calling, great reads. We've got John QT up against Boaster. And John QT's been dangerous. I mean, the man is a danger, to say the very least. A fragging IGL through and through. But Boaster so far in a very strong grip on this game. Looks like a 3-2 split here. Early pressure towards Zekken. Speaking of pressure, that doesn't apply as Zekken gets a new lease of life. You can't get the follow-up on Boaster. Speaking about fragging IGLs, it's Boaster at the helm this time. 2 for him, but John QT has his number. Keeps him in a level situation, 3v3, but the retakes have been difficult, and Hero feeling confident. That's why. Claims another man. It's Tense and Sassy. The duo over towards the A site. But Hero has been sharp. Ult comes in, should clear towards his pillar. Both seen, and actually, hold on.
It catches 2.
That's a problem here. It's only Alpha who could do anything about this. So the flash to buy a little bit of time, and Ten's going hunting. He wants in. Stunned up, forced to respect. They're trying to close down, but they can't get to them. Fnatic hold the line! And they hold the scoreline. Taking the lead here. Boaster knowing what he's done on this half. It's a big half to keep Sentinels humbled, to keep them down on 4. A deadly side through and through. But 8-4 is the scoreline. We'll be back in just a second. Oh, come on.
Trade in any phone in any condition guaranteed and get $800 off the new Galaxy Z Fold 6. Only on Verizon.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Hey guys, welcome to the stream.
When you're relentless,
okay, we got this.
You can achieve anything. Reach your impossible, Lenovo Legion.
Where were you, for starters? There's no excuses at this point. Wake up, get your caffeinated beverage, and get yourself ready for this. 4-8, Josh. Sen are trailing, but I think we've all learned our lessons by now of never counting them out.
You're right about that. Never count them out. Fnatic got that first pistol. They actually got the first 3 rounds of the game here. That's creating a little bit of a buffer on that score line, but they chose attack. And was this the reason? Did they have the reads? Also, the switch up of the game plans, the tempo changes, the misdirection baked into their plans. Did that catch Sentinels off guard? But when we look at the scoreboard here, all of the players of Fnatic are contributing on a fairly equal level, some maybe a little bit more than others, but side of Sentinels, some of you gotta wake up. You gotta wake up now. Contact into B. Knife. Sees if anyone's close by.
Oh,
but here's the counter push.
The disrespect from Durka to go head first for that. Zekken is going to quell that and punish him for the disrespect, but he claims Sassy's life. It makes it trickier now to get towards this B site.
4-4. A little bit of a pause, but Sentinel's still trying to get out of the site. There's nothing really to stop them from getting out here. Hero on an off angle.
But if Alpha gets the contact as Hero then swing, it looked like that was the intention. They should note his position here. The flash is fantastic, forcing him deeper. Zekken trying to springboard forward, looks for another victim to fell. It's Tense though to get Alpha, so that does remove some of the pressure from Market. Zekken kicking it up a gear. Now just on Boaster in the 1v2. Pain Shell in play still for Zekken. Boaster to walk back in, and Zekken looking lethal. The timing, it's right. Sentinels answer back perfectly. Pistol is theirs.
And now the score is going to get a little bit closer. We're getting more players involved in Fnatic. getting a little wild there on that B main push, trying to catch Sentinels. Only a 1-for-1 trade, but again, comes down to these very sloppy fights at the B site. There's almost like a two-man split off, 2 players pushing up the site, 2 players pushing towards market, spams going through the cages, people pushing in all sorts of different directions. Very, very messy, and reminiscent of that first half as well.
Baby. Let's go.
All right, they're really sloppy, crazy, down to the wire rounds, or these clean, flawless ones.
Yes, this should do. Now this should be the gap close, right? This should be 6. Fnatic should be held here. Just pistols. They've gone for a stack as their starting look over towards A. 4 of them. Going to be John QT, who's got to be aware of that. And so far, playing the timing well.
I always get a little bit nervous when I see 5 players with classics. Like, you need to be very confident in either giving up that round or being able to do a miracle with that. It's always when you have like 1 or 2 sheriffs that you're like, nah. Fnatic trying to just get some economic damage. Search out where John QT is trying to fall back to. John QT realizes he's being hunted right now. He's like, I'm going to try to take you on a wild goose chase because right now, if Fnatic move away from that spike, they need to die to that at the end of the round here.
This is smart. This is really smart from John QT. I think Hero knows that he has to kind of fall back towards that B side. Looking like he wants to try and approach through market, or at least go out that way. Okay.
Zelsys next.
I mean, how much can they really cost him here? I'm looking at... It's really, yeah, Zelsys who's on the chopping block. 10's going to take away Hero. Zelsys got to be really careful. Yeah, keeps cool, but he's got an army flooding him. That is a valuable weapon dropped. And both will go down in the end. See if John QT can recover that in time. They ran it further back and actually doesn't get hold of it.
That is an expensive round for Sentinels. Fnatic doing work with those classics, those free weapons. They damage. I mean, only Saucy got out of that unscathed, and he had a Bulldog. He didn't have a Vandal or Phantom even. So very costly round, but Zekken has that showstopper. They can use this to convert this 3rd round. That's what Fnatic did in the first half, win those first 3 rounds in a row. It's on Sentinels to try to figure out. They had that game plan for Fnatic in that first half. Will they have it here?
마발이 좀 강화졌지.
3 players there.
Firing squad.
Yeah, I feel like they're trying to get ready. Saucy had the timing right. Still took down Hero.
But that's Hero out. He normally plays B. That might tell Sentinels it's an A retake. The knife info as well.
That's pretty big though, finding 2 players there.
But not in a position to capitalize off of it. Right now, Sentinels is grouping back towards B. Fnatic want to do that re-clear on middle. They already have that drone out, clearing everything. They see set 10s. If 10s went down there, that would have been huge. The smoke's gone, would make this post plant so difficult to defend against. But Fnatic haven't found out exactly where to go yet. They're playing that retake. 4 on 4. They have their smoke still.
So they've conceded the B site control. They've given that over towards Sentinels. You see Zekken on guard duty, basically rocket in hand, ready. Not going to get anything for it. Is Fnatic starting to flood back in through market? 1 splitting off his poster. Still going to have util in the backlines from John QT to deny that being a comfortable position to pressure from. How are you meant to dissuade the players on the site? You can't! When TenZ does that! Back-to-back brilliance from the man. Chronicle and Durka brought to their knees. Poster and Alpha, options have gone.
They just need a save now. They realize Sentinels, their money was so low. Maybe doing a little bit of economic damage here to keep their money low, but I'm looking at it right now. 3,400, 26, 2,400. Their money's actually in a really decent spot at the moment.
Yeah, they're fine with that. John QT. Zekken looking for the player. Trade does go down, and yeah, these rounds are getting close, but that's a bonus converted. That is a bonus for Sentinels. Step by step, closing up the scoreboard now, 7-8, 1 away from being a tied affair here.
This game, I mean, it's going to be unpredictable the whole way through. You can't really know what's going to happen until the very last second, and even then, you don't even know. The back and forth, just the way that the rounds are traded out like this.
And it was something you were saying at the start of this, we needed some of the Sentinels players to wake up. That is looking like TenZ is starting to heat up a bit here there. That was some beautiful shots for him. The only one to retain the rifle for Fnatic is Durka. Sentinels should, and I say should lightly, because there are a couple of sheriffs out. You know, this is a little bit more of a contested round.
The dart stun combo.
Zekken caught just drifting through. TenZ remains alive for now, but he's lucky, if anything. And the punishment, the control on B main. is kept in the hands of Fnatic. These weapons aren't easy to get hands on, but Zelsys trying to take the challenge. He's got Sassy behind him, and a quick swing. Zelsys beheading Durka, trying to defend this. Police those weapons lost.
4 versus 3 in favor of Fnatic on their eco round here, and John QT trying to search out this A area, get a little bit of information here.
Oh, he's seen a lot in middle there, though. Not sure if he saw 2, maybe even 3.
Camera gets taken out, but the defender camera at B main, ready to just figure out what's going on here if they need to go for the retake. Searching out John QT, though, yeah.
Look at Hero's position. He knows there's a chance of this. A was left completely open. Hero taking a couple of glances towards it, over towards that spawn side. You can see Sentinel's cautious in approach. They don't quite know where Fnatic have gone, and this flank is on the way. So a flank on a flank pretty much here. You got to expect the timing to be right from John QT. Darcy going to note at least 1. He now knows there's 2, but the trade is there for Alpha. This can get turned on its head. Hero reads it well, and now Zelsys in a 1v3. It's only Sheriffs, but how much can one man do? He's got a player to the right, 1 to the left. The defuse will be beginning in about a second. You take your eye off the prize and they'll punish you for it. Another opportunity. 2 for Zelsys. Maybe a 3rd. No, Hero makes his appearance known. Defuse for the ult for Chronicle. And the scoreline gets held away for now.
Both these teams doing such big gambles on both sides. Here, Fnatic, they choose to do this 4-man D full retake A setup. It's not the first time they've done it, but here they've got the stun, the dart ready, and they're going to fight inside of B main, catching Sentinels. They had Sheriffs only, and a classic. These rounds, these reads, everyone's in each other's minds right now.
Yeah, I love that between Hero and wild stuff. We're not out of the woods yet. This game definitely hasn't settled. It's up in the air, 7-9.
As soon as Fnatic gets that win off that 4B gamble stack, they switch it up. They're in a 4A gamble stack. They got the camera and the trips on Boaster on A, but we haven't seen the side from them yet before. Chronicle also has that Hunter's Fury, and he could pop this in the back if he wants.
Let's see, Sassy's cleared through. Knows there's no one currently in market. They know the site is absent of players. Plant might be questioned, but for now, they hold the site and they're staying on the site. Sentinel's not falling back towards B main. They're looking like they want to get in here. Ten's trying to tee him up. Paradise goes through. Bosa tries to back away, but he's caught. He is absolutely sunk. Second leading the charge, and now the rest of Fnatic want to avenge their IGL. You gotta look at the flank here as well, you're right. Zelsys gonna be put on notice, catches him. Notes Durka, Paint Shell goes in and Zelsys leans forward, but it's Durka and Chronicle in unison, dropping bodies. Darcy holding the back from the market, trying to play to the time perfectly, and they're doing everything they can. But a 1v2 for Alpha, he may not have the time for this. I think it's gone, I think it's too late. Sentinels back up within touching distance now.
I'm back, guys. ছিলাম না বলে অনেকক্ষণ জিতে যাচ্ছিল সেন্টিনাল, এবার আমি এসে গেছি। ওই তো এবার তো আসল লড়াই স্টার্ট হবে তোর আর আমার মধ্যে।
এবার একটা রাউন্ড ফ্যানাটিক যাবে, একটা রাউন্ড সেন্টিনাল যাবে। এই
ফাক সেন্টিনাল, ফাক ফ্যানাটিক।
তুই আসতে মাঝে মাঝে জন কিউটি ফর ইউ, জন কিউটি ফর ইউ গাইস। আর কিছু নেই।
Similar situation on the other side, not quite as, I guess, instigating. You've got the TP for 10s, the hat for John QT.
Yeah, Mini, তুই কি তুহিন মিনি হয়ে গেছিস নাকি?
Used as a nice springboard forward, but on the other side, some very impactful.
এই জন কিউটির যা ফেটেছে না, হ্যাঁ
হ্যাঁ, just a check in of what they've seen so far.
This is where it gets very unpredictable, and you know, I've cited it a couple times, but the way that you can use these ultimates, there's different ways you can use it to execute on a site. So if you're Zelsys with that KO ultimate, you can do it the way that Fnatic's been setting up these 4-player gamble stacks. It turns off all their abilities. It's just guns out at that point. Or you can save it and use it to cancel out that Showstopper, that Hunter's Fury, if Fnatic try to use that on a retake. So figuring out what you want to do, how you're going to use these ultimates. Are you going to use it to initiate? Are you going to save any, knowing that it's going to probably stimulate the other team to make a reaction, a response to whatever you're doing? And Fnatic right now trying to get a handle of the situation. We've seen them not really do their normal game plan. They're switching it up. They're doing these 4-man gamble stacks, constantly re-clearing middle. And Sentinels, they've been pacey towards B a lot.
They have been. And Sentinels currently are 4-1 on this.
তুই নাম যেন দোকান থেকে আস্তে আস্তে দেখতে পাই তুই সেন্টিনাল হেরে গেছে।
It is game on. Let's see what Sentinels decide to do this round.
দেখা যাক।
Get the information early towards A, but they're going for a bit of a heavier
প্রতিবার
push towards
জেকেন
B.
প্রতিবার
তারা!
জেকেন মরছে ভাই
তারা!
Here on the back line by Pillar. And Sentinels
দুটো
gonna
প্লেয়ার
go for
নাকি
it. It's going to be a huge
হান্টার আলটে মরে যাচ্ছে
investment. Durka takes
Hunter
away
Alt.
second, but how much more can he do?
এই যে,
10 a
ছেড়ে
little
দিল।
bit of damage it looks like. And Sarsi going to lose his life. They've invested everything they had to that opening.
Those 2 kills are huge. They need to be able to close this out. John QT, that would have been a huge find if he was able to get it on Boaster. But 3 players from Sentinels coming over to this A-side Boaster
আমরা
is
তো এরকম
all alone.
লাফাতে
He
পারি
needs
না
to find a way to get out. He needs to live. His teammates are so far away.
এবার আবার
He can
তুই
only
দিলে তো
hold towards
দেখছিস
that elbow position. John QT trying to close the gap, get a bit closer. Takes a step over. Trap and play, trying to isolate Boaster here. He's been seen, he's been noted, he's buying time. But it takes time. The rotation on the way. And Chronicle right nearby, he might team himself up for the trade. 10's left out to dry. No one there to back him up until then. 2 big picks. John QT and Zelsis take away the players trying to pressure that plant, but it got into play. So Zelsis and John QT still need to stand together. It is a 2v3. Numbers on towards Fnatic's side. Zelsis feeling the pressure on the site. You can see the crossfire in play here. As best they can. Zelsis going to get the contact with all 3. Can he divide? Can he conquer? Spots them getting closer. He knows it. He hears it. It's John QT to his side. But Durka succeeds. And now John QT on 39 needs to clutch and he can't. Fnatic make it up to 10. Sentinels held on 8. The scoreline finally pulling away.
Fnatic finally. It was so scary for Bowser on an island for so long. Such a big ultimate investment to get those first 2 kills, to get that opening. You should be converting those rounds pretty much like 90% of the time pretty much, but the fact that it got as close as it did makes me nervous for what happens. No. Oh no, the stand-up curse, the stand-up curse.
Glue him to the chair.
It's fine, because if Sentinels wins a round, Zelsis probably stands up, it evens out.
It's not fine. I'm telling you now, it's not fine. Oh lord, it's a rifle with Zekken and a sheriff with 10s. But why? Why do I feel like this is the one? The curse begins. Let's see what damage they can do all together. 3-2 split towards A. Chronicle stands in his way. Right, big info, flank en route. But if he goes down, the floodgates open. They have a safe cross towards the site, so Wingman probably going to get the plant now.
The early flank is coming out for the defense. And all the smokes are gone for the attackers. They're not going to have another one for about 15 seconds or so.
But this is the man. Zekken, 10s, these 2. Paranoia primed.
That's it.
He gets it right. That's a lot of blind
They have
players.
Air Ultimate as well to stall everything out if they want it.
Paranoia is perfect. Zekken can only get 1 though so far, but 10s falls for it. It's fine. It's a 4v4. Time beginning to tick. The backline pressured. Hero, this should be called out. They've got to know he's here. Zekken waits in the smoke and he strikes. This is the round. Is this how it happens? The curse potentially coming into play, but a 3v3 and Fnatic shut it down. 11 for Fnatic defuses there.
If you're going to stand up, at least deliver at the end there. Alpha with 3 big kills, not letting it happen again, not again. He learned his lesson. And if you're going to be the one to stand up, at least you got to put the other team down.
That was 1 rifle and 1 sheriff. Right? That's the simplicity of it, and it felt so competitive, so close. Alpha really clean. Yeah, he made sure he locked that in.
Bro. I just saw the last of X on rifle.
Chronicle also stood up, I'm pretty sure, in that situation, so.
He can do what he wants. Now, Sentinels have felt enough here. These are, excluding that 17th round, these have been the Fnatic run back, right? That could have been 4 consecutive, it wasn't. It's now just 2. But it's been enough of a red flag, right? The game's getting far too far away from them to pump in the brakes. They've got ults here. Josh, what do they come up with? They've got to buy. This has to be a big investment, and it's got to work.
You say red flag. Sentinel 6 the timeout. Is that meaning Sentinels around in here? They have their ultimates. When we look at the rounds, a couple of rounds ago, Fnatic dumped 3 ultimates to find the early 2 picks, make it into a 2 versus 1 where they win the round. Now Sentinels, they have a couple ultimates of their own. They're really close to a Thrash as well. They could definitely combo some ultimates, get back into the game here. They just had to sit on these ults for another round as they did in Eco, but Fnatic is in a really good position to potentially close out the game soon here. Boaster has that Astral Divide, so I'm wondering if they're more fine to defend that A site or middle and go for that retake on B, but Sentinels realizes if Fnatic's not playing the site, we're pushing spawn. I wonder if Fnatic has clued into that. It doesn't matter though. It looks like Fnatic is trying to set up that B defense again here. It's worked for them before. Sentinels eyeing up middle for the first time.
That would be probably the remit of more, I guess, alpha. And you can already see the adjustment coming from Chronicle 2 to maybe try and keep tabs on that.
I think Durka snuck in here before the camera went up, and JohnQT will not be the wiser.
Oh, God.
It's all on that trigger discipline to line them all up. Three spotted at middle.
Big info. Alpha now under scrutiny, but
Durka!
Oh, JohnQT, the savior of that moment. A missed shot, and now Sentinels start the ball rolling. The B site is open, it's available. Hero trying to hinder. Catching one on the cross. Can't land it, JohnQT does. Setting them up for success. And a plant that he had. And if you're Fnatic, you're pulling the plug, surely. That was perfect from Sen.
A couple of the players on Fnatic have a little bit of cash reserves, but we're also looking at Hero, who's down to 100 credits, so a likely save. They're in the lead. Only one big ultimate used there from Zelsis. They still keep Zekken's Showstopper for another day. And Chronicle, not really involved in some of these fights.
I mean, the pacing Sentinels took through mid, how are you meant to? His owl drone seemed well timed, but by that point, they were in market, basically. He caught, 3 of them moving that way, but by that point, the timing on the crunch, I guess it felt like he was dependent on Durka, pretty much. If he succeeds towards main, maybe they can
He was set up perfectly for it.
And he missed.
He missed. Sometimes that's just how it goes.
JohnQT,
you can have the perfect, you can have the perfect setup, but if you aren't able to capitalize on the position you've been given, the blessing, that's it. It falls apart so easily. Fnatic, I want to see them change up their setup though. They've been running the same kind of B defense, jamming them in B main a few different times here, and it's worked. It's given them what they wanted, but we saw it in the last half as well. Around 7 or 8 rounds into the game, Fnatic did switch it up and started changing the pace, started baking in that misdirection. I wonder if we're going to see a switch up from Fnatic on their defense, or even Sentinels. They've been going really quick. That first 40 seconds, they're in the site. It's usually been towards B here. But a little bit of a fake opening towards A. A lot of information given. They have that camera.
Third man.
Yep. And right now, Fnatic is defending towards that A side. They're putting Hero back on B. We haven't seen him towards B defending since maybe even Pistol around this game. He's usually so good at this, getting 2 kills, getting out with his life. But here he backs out, doesn't want to go against these ultimates. But so much space taken, and they're going to keep going. Sentinels, they have that Showstopper. It's still active. The Thrash, they need to recover it.
Now, they're going to know that they've taken over CT space. It's all through market, pretty much. Maybe an eventual flank from Chronicle, but Fnatic have to take some more space back in. They can't just flood through market.
It's going to be hard, though. Sentinels playing forwards. They know this Astral Divide's in play.
Yeah, staying on the site here. Paranoia ready. 10 sends it and then backs. They're just not getting in the door here. Sentinels shutting it in their face. Now it is go time. Zelsis sent to his death. Forced to fight forward. Sarsi now leaning back, but time is ticking. You gotta get a move on here. Sentinel's gonna lap this up with the trades in play. Sarsi still stands, as does JohnQT, and the time is ticking. They are out of time, surely. No more to be done here. No more time to play. Sentinel's running it down to the wire.
And Sentinels taking that round from under the noses of Fnatic, and Fnatic just way too slow, couldn't find an opening into that round. They had an idea of what they wanted to do, but so much pressure put on them from that Thrash, from that Showstopper, and then the Paranoia, and then they back out to the next angle. They don't back all the way into B main. They know that's a round loss for them. Just back into the site and get this crossfire going, and another chaotic situation. I am surprised that Astral Divide was used in that situation with that much time left.
That's a big burn up of an ult, but I have to give credit again. In a round they needed that the timeout was potentially built for, you've got JohnQT leading by example. One exceptional IGL, 21-11. Again, conceptually, that fate coming into play, it pulling that third body across. Fnatic too late to the party on B.
Nice one.
Absolute maestro of the downfall of Fnatic in that round. However, still in the lead overall, Boaster really pressured in that. And we've got pressure on 2 fronts, really. Oh, but Zelsis deals with Durka. Sends him away and falls off this.
Minute to play with, a 5 versus 4. And a good read, understanding exactly how Fnatic's trying to do this push-pull every time they're trying to take B main and re-aggress into their Sentinels, waiting, ready to punish that. Now another retake potentially for Fnatic. This time in a 4 versus 5.
A little uncomfy there, but all good. Should be able to get the plant now. We're looking at what they've got for the retake. Bulldog. Spike planted. Still there for Boaster. SMG for Chronicle.
They have that dart smoke off elbow, aftershock out that default box. This is doable for Fnatic. It needs to be perfect though. Boaster trying to take that timing in.
Actually, he's gone in the door. Zekken sends him away though, and now they're struggling, now they're capitulating, now they're falling to pieces. Sentinels coming together when it matters most. 11 potentially now. Destined to be a close game between these two. Chronicle can do nothing really. They might find one, but unless they completely leave the site, it means nothing. Take a couple bodies, sure. Make it hurt. But the real gut punch of it all for Fnatic. 11 Sentinels. I'm watching John QT.
Hey, তুই একটু বৃহস্পতিটাকে বাড়ি যেতে বল।
তুহিন সিনহাই বলছে জন কিউটি ফর ইউ গাইস। ওই জন্য দিচ্ছে না।
Where's the game gonna go?
বৃহস্পতিটাকে
the mind games that are coming out. These guys know exactly what the other team is going to do. The preparation is there. They know exactly how they want to manipulate everything. Sometimes even with the perfect plan.
পুরো তোর মতো বল যেমন করে ফ্যাসেল করে গিয়ে দিস যে অফ করলে
kills he's got his a few good ultimates here.
হ্যাঁ ভাই
অপটি লেনে তুই হোয়াইট সিং অফ পিক নে
না তুই নে বিশেষ করে আমি অফ করলে একটু করে গায়ে জ্বালা ধরে কেন অফ করবি আমি এটা ফ্যাসেল করে গিয়ে দেই তারপরে বলে কি রে মারতে পারলি না না মারতেও তো পারিনি না মারতে হবে না তার জন্য
after strength here. Zelsis knows he's baiting this out. It's so well done. Sentinels again, correct read, finger on the pulse.
Cage trigger. Alpha still has that rolling thunder, and if they do this 3-man flank all the way through, they can actually catch Sentinels in a really precarious position here. And like back all the way out, holding from a passive spawn angle, waiting for Sentinels to step all the way through. But still, you're right. The Sheriffs, the Spectre, not the greatest weapons. It's all on Dirk and Alpha to find these big openings. Showstopper are already wasted. Sentinels looking for that opportunity to jab through the smoke. Counter util ready. That's Alpha affected. No stun, no flash. The time is ticking.
Fnatic running this incredibly low. Again, the ult. Okay, it's going to be down to the wire, but 10's unaffected. Maybe his moment to shine before 24 HP, he leans forward, and he just brushes his shoulders. What? He still gets the body for the time. Keep in mind the clock is ticking, and it's ticking fast. John QT forced away. Zelsis fights back. Sentinels make it up to 12.
Sentinels, 12 rounds on their map pick. Starting the half, 4 to 8, they were down. They get those first 3 rounds in a row. They start climbing it back round by round. It's not pretty every round, but they get there in the end. Now, map point for them. Fnatic, they're going to be able to string together some sort of buy going on here, but in Sentinels is full control of the game. They know exactly how Fnatic wants to respond to some of these situations, baiting out perfectly Durka to push through B main. It's not working for Fnatic, and they need to switch it up if they want to be able to stay in this game.
John Goody for you.
Down to the wire. OT on map 1 in the hands of Sentinels.
Right here.
Chronicle with the ult.
Take flight.
On the other side, 10 still has his, but nowhere near as influential. And the Owl drone, does it catch a pixel? Absolutely not. Let's see what he wants this time.
Not ready yet.
আবার জেকেনি ড্যামেজ খেয়েছে প্রতিবার সেম ফার্স্ট ইয়েতে জেকেনি
It's going to be dangerous for him to pop out. Oh, he's just going to do a blind.
Oh my god, it could be devastating if he doesn't catch. No.
Zeken भी like मैं कोई मंदिर का घंटा हुआ क्या?
And then it falls into the one man's hands who could be the threat, who could be the downfall. How diligent are they? It doesn't matter, he still gets one.
Big shot.
Oh, Chronicle, where was that? Out of nowhere, catching Sassy on the shock dart. And suddenly, they're left in pieces, fractured on the way forward. Tens, John QT and Zelsis, you talk about impact players. You got them in this, though.
I'm looking at Tens' ultimate. On a round like this, this is where you want to try to find your footing into a site and pop that ultimate if you need it back out. Zelsis trying to figure out how he can disrupt this rotation, but deciding to move together here. John QT versus Hero is going to be a big duel towards B, but it's a defense on market. They don't care about the site.
First fight, Tens trying to lead the fray. John QT, Tens! Back to back impact! TP to the site, plant up next, and suddenly the record is flipped. And now you're down to Alpha and Chronicle. Again, impact sure, but in a moment like this, can you pull it through? Zelsis hops away, keeps himself alive. Information aplenty. They now know what they're up against. Tenz's timing could be heaven sent, but no, they skip around. They go towards site, one towards main, one on pillar, one CT. Hard to find fair fights. And growling, waiting. Chronicle finds Zelsis, but the time is ticking, and Tenz is on the way. The camera comes up.
Tenz
for you guys.
The bully of the big boys, afraid of no one. Shuts out map 1, 13 to 11.
Such a slow start to the game is able to close it out with a 2.
Toughram আমি ফাইনালস করব যে 2-1
pick for them to go into sunset, and suddenly they turn it around, close it out.
Okay,
ভাই আমি 2-1 বলে দিয়েছি ভাই.
Do not miss this.
আমি দোকানটা চলে গেলাম না, টক দইটা আনতে হলো আমাকে.
বলে টক দইটা আনতে হলো আমাকে.
না ভাই, এখানে বোস্টারকে তো আমার টক দইটা খাওয়াতে হবে. খেলতে পারছে না.
বোস্টারকে তো টক দইটা খাওয়া, বোস্টার একটু বুস্ট পাবে, তারপরে যদি মারতে পারে.
ডার্কে আমার মিশ্র দই খাওয়াবো.
ওই অ্যাস্ট্রালটা, হ্যাঁ ওটাকে ওরা নিজেরাই একটু হারিয়ে গেছিল সাইডের মধ্যে পাল্টা করে. দুজন সাইডের বাইরে খেলছে, একজন সাইডের ভিতরে খেলছে, নিজেই বুঝতে পারে.
দেখ এটুকু আমি থেকে মানে একদম দূরের একটা প্রেডিকশন বলতে পারি, লেভাইতান উঠে গেছে ফাইনাল.
দেখা যাক, লেভাইতান ভালো খেলছে এবার. হ্যাঁ
ফাইনালে উঠে গেছে আমি বলছি. ইডিজির সাথে খেলা না,
যেমন কালকে. উট বু মিনি বু বেঞ্জি ফিশি
ভাই, বু মিনি বু.
হ্যাঁ ও তো বু মিনি বু, ওটাই তো বললাম. দুই ভাই.
বু হচ্ছে আইজিএল লোয়ার ব্র্যাকেটে
আজকে লোয়ার ব্র্যাকেটে খেলা তো. হ্যাঁ
ইডিজির সাথে ওটাই. হ্যাঁ, আর লোয়ার ব্র্যাকেট একটা ফাইনাল হবে, আপার ব্র্যাকেট একটা ফাইনাল হবে.
এই হচ্ছে কি এখন সিন. ইডিজি লেভেতেনের আছে 23 তারিখে. বাবা আজকে কত তারিখ? আজকে 8 তারিখ. হ্যাঁ এই তো এখান থেকে আজকে 2টো থেকে 2জন যাবে লোয়ার রাউন্ডে.
আপার ব্র্যাকেট যে আপার ব্র্যাকেটের সেমিফাইনাল যে জিতবে তার কাছে আপার এন্ড থাকবে একদিনের রেস্ট পাওয়ার. আর লোয়ার ব্র্যাকেটে যারা রান করছে তাদের কোনো আপার এন্ড থাকবে না, তাদের প্রত্যেক দিনই এখন খেলতে হবে.
কোথায় প্রত্যেকদিন খেলতে হবে?
দেখ
এই তো দেখ, আমি তো খোলা আছে.
আরে না, প্রত্যেকদিন বলতে সেমিফাইনালের পর ফাইনাল, তারপরে আপার ব্র্যাকেট ফাইনাল.
ও আচ্ছা, হ্যাঁ এখানে তো এই তো এই দুটো রয়েছে না, লোয়ার রাউন্ডের এটা রয়েছে.
মোটামুটি দেখ, যারা আপার ব্র্যাকেট জিতে যাচ্ছে তাদেরকে
এই লোয়ার ফাইনাল থেকে একজন যাবে গ্র্যান্ড ফিনালে, আর আপার ফাইনাল থেকে একজন গ্র্যান্ড ফিনালে.
আরে লোয়ার ব্র্যাকেটে যারা খেলছে তাদের পরপর 2 দিন BO5 খেলতে হবে.
না এটা তো যে লোয়ার ফাইনাল থেকে একজন গ্র্যান্ড ফিনালেতে যাবে, আর আপার ফাইনাল থেকে একজন যাবে. তো
হ্যাঁ ওটাই বলছি, যে যারা লোয়ার ব্র্যাকেট থেকে উঠবে তাদেরকে পরপর 2 দিন খেলতে হবে.
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ 23
BO5 খেলতে হবে.
হ্যাঁ
কোনো সিঙ্গেল ওটা হচ্ছে এখন অব্দি রেকর্ড একটা টিম যে সিঙ্গেল হ্যান্ডেডলি কোনো ম্যাপ ড্রপ না করে জিতেছে।
প্রথমটা তো সেন্টিনেল জিতে গেল, এবার একটা কোনটা জিতবে মনে হয়? 12? Let's go. দেখা যাক।
এবারে ম্যাক্সিমাম ম্যাচ 2-0 তে শেষ হয়ে গেছে।
কি এবার বাইন্ড তো তোর ইয়েটা নেক্সট ম্যাচ?
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ বাইন্ড তারপর লোটা না, হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ বাইন্ড তারপর
এবার লোটাস কি বলছিস?
এবার লোটাস ছিল
বাইন্ড মনে হলো।
দেখ ভিএলএ যা
বাইন্ড লোটাস এর ডিসাইডার। হ্যাঁ লোটাস ডিসাইডার।
বাইন্ডে ফ্যানাটিকের অত ভালো নেই, জিতে যাবে সেন্টিনেল।
তো
এই শটটা ভালো।
বাইন্ডে তো ইয়েরই ম্যাপ ভাই, পিকটা তো ইয়েই করেছে, ফ্যানাটিকই করেছে।
ফ্যানাটিক করেছে কিন্তু বাইন্ডে সেন্টিনেলের আপার হ্যান্ড বেশি। দেখ বাইন্ডে সেন্টিনেল যেতে, সেন্টিনেলের উইনিং পার্সেন্টেজ বেশি।
আরে সে ডিপেন্ড করছে, অনেক কিছু উপর ডিপেন্ড করছে শালা। এই এটা তোর ওই কি বলে জন কিউটি লার্ক কেমন হবে, তারপরে তোর কেমন বাইন্ডটা পুরো লার্কের উপরে, এই দিক থেকে লার্ক করে চলে যাচ্ছে, ওই দিক থেকে লার্ক করে চলে যাচ্ছে।
কে বলে ভাই আমরা তো এমনি জিতে যাই।
আমি তো জিতি না।
তোকে একটু ক্যারি করে দি, ক্যারি করলে জিতে যাই। সেদিন তো ডরে গেল রে তুহিন, সেদিন তো ডরে গেল।
আমার সাথে কন্টাক্টই হয়নি, বলে লাভ তো নেই। সেদিন
ওরা বলে লাভ আছে? আমার সাথে তাহলে কন্টাক্ট হচ্ছিল কিভাবে?
লাস্টের দিকে তুই প্রথমত সবসময় উল্টো সাইড ধরছিলি, আমাকে অন্য সাইডটা ধরতে হচ্ছিল। যদি আমি তোর সাইডে খেলতাম আমি কিলগুলো পেতাম। সেকেন্ডলি আমি যখন
খেলিস নি কেন? শোন এই তোকে আমি অফার করিনি ভাই, তুই একটা কাজ কর, তুই ওইদিকে চলে যা বাইন্ডের, আমি বেট হচ্ছি তোর জন্য, তুই মারবি।
না আমি ওটা ভাই
আমি বলিনি।
না তুই এটা বলিস না, প্রথম কথা গেল। দ্বিতীয় কথা
সুরের বাচ্চা, তোকে আমি বলিনি যে তুই ওদিকে চলে যা, জেট নিয়ে আমি অফ করছি, আমি তারপর বেরিয়ে যাবো, তুই মারবি।
ঠিক আছে আমার এই কথাটা শোন। দ্বিতীয় কথা হচ্ছে এটাই, যখন আমি লাস্টের দিকে টিপি করে করে মারা আরম্ভ করলাম, তারপর দেখলি তো কোথায় কি দাঁড়ালাম।
কোথায় কি দাঁড়ালো?
সেকেন্ড টপ ট্র্যাকার ছিলাম তো ভাই ওটাতে।
তো তুই তো আমার উপরেও থাকতিস যদি আমার কথাটা একটু শুনতিস।
তোর মনে হয় তোর কথা আজ অবধি শুনেছি?
না ভাই আমার কথা তুই শুনলে তো আজকে তুই ইমর্টালটা চলে যেতিস। আচ্ছা সৌম্য কল করে, যে সৌম্য কল করে বল সৌম্য খেলবো, ওকে ডাক, তারপরে বলবো না আমরা তো কে দেখছি। দাঁড়া আমি বলছি। হ্যালো আয় ফাস্ট আয় ডিসকর্ড আয় সৌম্য, ডিসকর্ডে আয় সবাই, ডিসকর্ডে আয় সবাই, মানচত গুলো ডিসকর্ডে,
এই
সবাই ডিসকর্ডে আয়।
ডিফেন্স নিয়েছে
course of this tournament, but the trouble is they're still winning on it and their looks are pretty good.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say they look shaky in the game against G2. There was wonderful bind play, so if they can keep that level up, I think they might just end up smoking Sentinels here. The problem is that's to do with form, and we don't know how that's going to be on any given day.
Well, let's hear what Coach WatchParty had to say ahead of Map 2.
I'm here joined by Coach WatchParty. You know, we've seen you play Bind before, but you haven't picked it since Shanghai yourself. What makes you feel like you're strong enough to take Sentinels on this map?
I think G2 are the best North American Bind team. We beat them the other day, so we're feeling good.
Okay, that's pretty concise. Let's see if they can do it.
Wrong.
No, I agree with him completely, and that's why I've got so much confidence in Fnatic heading into this. But I think, again, some of that is to do with form, some of that's to do with the way that G2 like to play. And even then, it took some outrageous, like, will stick in your memory for the longest time kind of moments. But when you have players on the server, Monsters always loved this map. Chronicle, I think it was Mitchell Tom crowned him Bind royalty, which I agree. Completely get Durka on his raise. It should make sense for Fnatic to come back here strong.
I just hope the mental though, Brent, is there.
8-7
using that sunset in the fashion that they did is tough.
And that's exactly what Boaster was saying in rivalry.
Next time যখনই 8-7টা আসবে তুই কিনে রাখবি, টাকাটা আমি তোকে দিয়ে দেব।
Because they do have an incredible amount
আমাকে জিজ্ঞেস করতে হবে
on the roster.
ওই টাকায় যখন আসবে
কত এসেছিল?
4
4000 এসেছিল
just from that experience that they've had.
আরো কম 2000 না কত টাকা এসেছিল।
Quality players overall, and I think they should have confidence coming into
সরে বাচ্চা তুই চোদাবি না, আমি বারবার ধরে বলি কিনে রাখবি। খানকির ছেলে সেই ইনজুরের কথা বলছে আমাকে খানকি
strategies based on the opponent's
আবার তুই ওর সাথে এরকম করছিস তুই
anti in that capacity as well.
So you can't have assume that maybe Elmer and Mini they were watching, they were coming up with stuff, but the bind it wasn't there. So this is a more prep work.
বিজনেস ওই ইয়ে বোর্ড গেমটা মনোপলি হ্যাঁ খেলেছি তুই লিটারালি মনোপলি করছিস
They had a true Raze comp that they used to love playing here. It's kind of one of the
তখন আমি খেলা জানতাম না
and that's faded away as we've seen more teams go towards that Gecko fade composition. Fnatic themselves picking that up instead of running Alpha Air on the Cypher. So I'm expecting to see a mirror in terms of the comps, and then it just comes down to execution.
Well, let's take a look and see if we're going to get any more changes. And Brent, they're both going to stick to what
না
they've
না
done
তার আগে তুমি খুব ভালো করে এদিকে বোঝালো
ভাই তখন আমি খেলাটা বুঝতাম না বলে ঠিক আছে শোন 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 তোদের এটা ফ্রিতে অ্যাডভাইস
মনোপলিটা মজার
কোনোদিনও তুহিনের সাথে তুহিনের সাথে না জেনে না শুনে কোনোদিনও ডিল করবি না ঠিক আছে তুহিন পোঁত মেরে খাল করে দেবে আগে থেকে বলে রাখ স্বাগতর দেখ আজকে গহ্বর হয়ে গেছে
শুধু একবার না ভাই এটির সাথে এটা মাল্টিপল টাইম স্বাগতর গহ্বর হয়ে গেছে
overcome that first hurdle that was necessary for them on Sunset.
You're right, Brent.
কি ব্যাপার ভাই
এই যে বলছে এটির সাথে মাল্টিপল টাইম হচ্ছে সেও আমার সাথে স্ক্যামটা করেছিল না ভাই একদিন পুরো ফিনিক্স খেলে তারপরে বলে তোকে সেজ খেলতে হবে বাড়া তাও আবার কি বলেছে তোকে এডিস খেলতে হবে শালা স্প্যাম করতে হবে শালা
আরে ভাই কথাটা শোন
তুই একদম
শিখতে হতো আমি
তো এডিস শিখিয়েছিলিস আমাকে তুই
ঠিক পথে তোকে আমি তো চালিত করেছি
ঠিক পথে চালিত করেছিস
তোকে খেলাটা দেখতে ভুল নয় প্রথম হচ্ছে এম না ঠিক আছে প্রথম তুই এম এর দিকে কনসেন্ট্রেট করলে তুই কোনোদিনও গেম খেলতে পারবি তোকে ফার্স্টে গেমটা খেলতে হবে গেম ডায়নামিক্সটা বোঝার জন্য ঠিক আছে তো আমার মনে হয় সে কোচ খুব সাবধান তো ব্যাপারটা হচ্ছে যে আমার মনে হয় সে ছাড়া
ঠিক আছে তুই আমাকে কেন এডিস খেলতে বলেছিলিস বল
কারণ তুই তখন তুই এম এ লাগিয়েতে পারবি না না তখন তোকে স্প্যাম করে যেতে হবে আর না হলে তুই ফ্রাস্ট্রেটেড হয়ে যাবি তো ভাই লাগছে না লস্ট হয়ে গেছে আই নো মাই প্লেয়ার
estimating how
hello Somo what's up
kept so many bodies on this side. Yeah, there's no way Sen completely stunned by this. The only maybe silver lining is the Vanishing let loose, but the spike has been
the WatchParty চলছে WatchParty
suck away, but a 1v3 with a classic in hand. I mean, reality for a second.
Roughly where he was, he got that kill with the paint shells.
এটা ওরা দেখছে Sentinel versus FNC
away from showers, they're tripling up. They really go together. Durka, he's got paint shells. They got the spot as well.
But it's still
Sentinel এর বা একজনকে
Second kill gets him a refresh on his paint shells. He's got double
সবাই
paint
মুম্বাইয়ের
shells.
ভাই আরে না না
ও once Fnatic figured that out.
কি প্ল্যান করেছে ভাই এটা কি প্ল্যান করেছে ভাই
nothing short of brilliance demanded of
হ্যাঁ ভাই
a tap on the
সোমতের ফ্যান বয়
and they're forced away not
এই সময় তোরা যে কাজ নেই
it's doable, it's not done
আজ কি খাই যা ভাই তো প্রতিদিনই কাজ ভাই
তোর তো সব দিনই কাজ হয় তো ছুটি আবার
very close
ব্যস্ত থাকে
Fnatic off to the start again.
Direct VCT তারিখের থেকে দেখছো কেন
থাকে এটা ডিলে নেই
বলছি সৌম তোর তো টিম ঠিকই বলেছে ব্যস্ত নেই তোর টিম আজকে
ফিউচার অফিশিয়ালটা
কারণ আমি ব্যস্ত
ও আচ্ছা কাউকে হ্যান্ডওভার দিয়ে আসতে পারিসনি নাকি
এই এসছে লোক ঢুকেছে নতুন সময়
কারণ আমি না সেপ্টেম্বরে
It really can come down either way on some of these clutch round moments.
এই আমার মনে হয় তোর
getting those clean open.
আমার মনে হয় তোর 100% হাইক চাও
100 বল আমাকে সিও বানিয়ে দিতে সিটিও বানিয়ে দিতে
really good combos on them and getting the recovery.
বানিয়ে দেবে ও যে লেভেলে এগোচ্ছে বানিয়ে দেবে সিটিও তো বেরিয়ে হবে সময় একা চালাচ্ছে কোম্পানি
লিডের চাকরিটা খেল
they are going to be forced to fall back
তারপর ম্যানেজারের
so all collected second
এবার সিটিওর খাবে
তাহলে কি আমার অপয়াটা ওর কাছে চলে গেছে সৌমর কাছে আমি তো টিম খাই ও তো পুরো কোম্পানি খায়
Alpha on a map like Sunset on Breach, he's there setting up other players. He's not involved in some of these fights. We saw him get the opening last round.
I যেটা বলছি যে বলে সৌম্য ভাবতো সৌম্যর সাথে যে জয়েন করবে তার কথা বাজে ভাগ্য ও জয়েন করবে সৌম্য বেরিয়ে চলে যাবে আবার একজনের টিম
হ্যাঁ ভাই
আবার একজনের টিম
তুই তো ইয়ে করেছিস
Sentinels, you got pistols and you're mounting down molehiles, and it might just work.
দিনকে বললাম তাহলে গেম আছে
সৌম তোর কি জানে যা যে ঢুকবে তাকে কি বলবি তো যে একজনের টিম হয়ে যাবে আমি কদিন পর ছেড়ে দেবো
হ্যাঁ মলি মেডাল
বলা কি
যা বাবা ও তো পেছনে পেছনে ভাই
এই টাইমটা বেরিয়ে গেল
ও মালটা 10-11 বছর এক্সপেরিয়েন্স
ভাই একজনের টিমে যদি 100 বছর এক্সপেরিয়েন্স থাকে তাহলে কি করে হবে
এনভায়রনমেন্টের যদি টোটাল নলেজ না থাকে যে লেভেলেরই লোক হোক
আমি তো দেবো ক্রেডিট
তাহলে তো আরোই পারবে না চালাতে
এই আরো ভয়
talk about certain players on certain agents we talk about like agents getting lots of kills but do they actually know the agents inside and out you're switching over so many different agents it's hard to know all the lineups across different agents for different positions and that brim molly could have been a difference maker on that round
really could have and he was in the right place for
Let's go. We won the round. Good job, guys.
Not think how he won.
rounds around
bonus now feeling heavily invested behind
না ভাই এই এটা কিন্তু হাই চান্স আছে কি বলে তুহিন এখন কিন্তু আবার সৌম্য সিঙ্গেল হয়ে গেছে
এটা তো এডির গল্প এডি তো এক বছর ধরে কেটে
ভাই আমি এই এক বছর ধরে কোথায় কেটে দিলাম ভাই
just fights breaking out across the map here this is very very staggered throughout but you're looking at where the spike's going over towards B long
আরে আয় না ভাই কেউ তো অন হয় না
না আসবো না
reading it correctly
so ছোট এখন নিয়ে
nice
ছোট এখন নিয়ে একটাই এখন বাকি সব
positions from the attackers
বাকি
সব ব্যান
love that I mean if they're
আমি দিচ্ছি অ্যাকাউন্ট না নিয়ে যা
তুই না
if he gets caught out of position but
তুই বাড়িতে নেই
high risk high reward
instead alpha goes down
so it's on Chronicle so maybe buy time make them work make it not feel so easy 40 seconds now both trying to clear out towards that B site but Senna on the way
smokes তুই যেটা বললাম তুই বল না ভাই কি নাটক মারছিস বল
so Chronicle now with a chance 30 seconds
দেখেছিস ভাই
is pretty key
এরা কি বন্ধু ভাই
আমার তো মনে হয় আমি তো একবার ভেবে দেখি
কি ভাই কি করি ভাই তুহিন
তো কত কি ঢালবি আগুনে
না কি করি ভাই বল আমিও করব বল
an issue at all to lose it Sentinels though with 4 alive
বল আমি করব বল
খেলার জন্য pick up for them Zekin as well
দেখ আমার তো মনে হয়
বল সৌম্য কি করতে হবে বল আমিও করব
ভেবে দেখা উচিত বন্ধুত্বটা রাখবি কিনা
হ্যাঁ ভাই
প্রথমে বল কি করতে হবে
তুই কিন্তু ভুলে যাস না তুই আজকে সিঙ্গেল থাকার কারণটা কি
they had that second connection onto that hookah crunch as well but Sentinel staying a step ahead of it trying to do this
এই সৌম্য বল কি করতে হবে
rotate back to short so trying to do these mind games and
রেফার করতে হবে
really good at those on the fly adjustments
ভাই কে বলছে ভাই আমরা ইয়েতে পুরো বসে আছি
where if they have to pivot it's not the best
তাও একটা গোল ওয়াদি নিয়ে চলে
ভাই ওটাতে আমার সিলভার লাগানো আছে ভাই
আবার আরে স্বাগত তুই মফিকে দে মফিতে ইমমর্টাল পৌঁছে দেবে তোকে
আরে না ভাই আমার ইমমর্টালে যাওয়ার ইচ্ছা নেই
ডায়মন্ড পৌঁছে দেবে at least
মুবড়া যায় ইমমর্টালে ইমমর্টাল ইজ ফর পুসি
big odds as well that if they do want to
leave মফিদা পুসি
they can lean on those
এবার তো আমি এটাতে কি কমেন্ট করি বলতো আরে আমি कुछ बोलूंगा तो विवाद हो जाएगा
তো বললি ভাই
out of this purchase he said it was a very costly bonus they invested into so suffering the consequences to that
ফস্টারটা ওখানে আমি একটা বোতল ফেলে রেখেছি বিরক্ত হয়ে গেছে
এই শোন না
রংচটা
বোতলটা আরে বোতলটা তো দেবেই দেখবি বোতলের সাথে ভেতরে তেলাপিয়া মাছও আছে
ভেজে খেয়ে নেবো ভাই
they waited long enough they see nothing happening they're moving towards B they do have really good ultimates and they've got that stun, so they can ignore hookah
এরা পারবে না এটা কি অ্যাটাকটা কে করছে
বলে দাও বল তো সেন্টিনেল হেরে যাবে
এটা কে অ্যাটাকটা কে করছে
অ্যাটাকটা সেন্টিনেল করছে
পারবে না তো ওর হেরে গেছে তো পারবে না হ্যাঁ
তাও তো হেরে গেছে তো
দেখা যাচ্ছে হেরে গেছে এই দেখ মুখে এগিয়ে দিচ্ছে এই দেখ দেখাচ্ছিস পারবে না
তুই বল পারবে না এটা তো বল তো সেন্টিনেলটা 2-1 হবে মানে সেন্টিনেল এক আর ফ্যানাটিক 2
এই দেখ দেখাচ্ছিস আমি বলে দিচ্ছি হবে না পারবে না ওরা
Now down to Zekin and 10.
লিখে নে কে আছে 10 যেটা হেগে দেবে
এবার তোর 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 বাপ চলে এসেছে দেখ তোর সাথে টক্কর দেওয়ার জন্য দেখ
এই রাউন্ড বেরোবেই না আমি লিখে দিচ্ছি লিখে নে
How the hell is he meant to get
আরে ভাই তুই
এই
উল্টো আছে কেন
এই রাখা
Silent ones too.
আমি কি বলছি আমি লিখে দিচ্ছি এই দেখো এরকম ভাবে খেললে কি করে এটা
স্বাগত স্বাগত ঠিক করে না কোন সাইড থেকে বলবি
কাপলানের পাশে বসে রয়েছে এই দেখো এইভাবে খেললে কেমন হবে
আগো তুই তো কথাটা এক নিমেষে ঘুরিয়ে দিলি
So close. Fnatic had a really good read to get on that site. Booster getting those first.
আরে ভাই এরা তো খেলতে পারছে না ভাই ক্রনিকলটা পারছে না ভাই
10 with 49 HP and a 1v1 to close it out.
না রে ভাই সেভ রাউন্ড ছিল
ও হ্যাঁ সেভ রাউন্ড তাহলে ঠিক আছে এবার আপ টু দেখবে রে
ওটা বাকি নিয়ে খেলছিল ভাই বেচারা বাকি নিয়ে খেলছিল
একবার প্লেয়ারদের সাথে খেলছে কি হাগা আর একটা প্লেয়ার আমাকে ট্রিগার করে দিয়েছে কিছু উল্টোপাল্টা লিখে এবার আমি ওকে লিখেছি আপ টু দেখবে রে আপ টু দেখ ঠিক আছে নেক্সট রাউন্ডে আবার ফার্স্টে মরে গেছি ওকে লিখেছি ঠিক আছে নেক্সট রাউন্ড দিখাতা হুঁ अब मत देख
pulled the strings like a
bye
a little bit more I guess reactionary
না তারপর বলছে কাল দেখ না কাল আউঙ্গা
তারপরে নেক্সট রাউন্ডেও হয় না যে ঠিক আছে কাল দিখাতা হুঁ
কাল আসবে
absolutely but it was you know it was a slog of a game here
করছে মারা কতবার দেবে
already probably going to be confident
two step verification
like he wants to be
এরা পারছে না ভাই এফএনসি
already you heard it in the clip
এরকম ভাবে খেললে কি করে যাবে
নেতৃত্বে নেই না এইজন্য হচ্ছে না
and it was right call it's like
না এরকম ভাবে
that was on Zekin
এরা এই 11 কিভাবে পারছে
স্বাগত একটু খেলাটা শেখাতে হবে বুঝলি স্বাগত খেলাটা শেখাতে হবে
আমি জানি না ভাই কি ফালতু খেলছে
have a chance to 2-0 this series
কি ফালতু খেলছে
কারণ এজেন্ট সিলেকশনই তো ভুল দেখ বোমে মরে যাচ্ছে ভাই কি এই দেখ
টানো মেরে দিচ্ছে বল
and they don't have
এই দেখ এইবার দেখ আপ টু দেখ
Boaster in what feels like a risky position
দেখ দেখাছিস কি বললাম 3-2 তো হ্যাঁ দেখ 3-2 টা আমি আর প্রেডিক্ট করে দিচ্ছি পেনাল্টি
জিতবে
আর সেন্টিনেলের আবার ব্যাকপ্যাক আছে নাকি
হ্যাঁ
and they've run out of it the spike too far
সাউথ একটা ব্যাকপ্যাক কিনে নে বুঝলি তারপর ওটা নিয়ে অফিস যাবে
ব্যাকপ্যাকের ভিতরে কি কাইডে আছে
defense from Fnatic there invested showstopper
ছোট
smoke and Boaster with that first
আরে দেখ সব জিনিসই প্রাইমারিলি ছোট বড় করে দায়িত্ব তোদের
that's got to get Sentinels a little bit
ও
frustrated
আচ্ছা সরি ভাই আমি এডি তোকে যেটা লিখেছিলাম যেটা করব বললাম তোকে ওটা কি বলবো এখানে
quickly here I think they're
বিবাদ হয়ে যায়
scared of going too quick here we've seen Fnatic already set up a hookah crunch they've set up a teleporter push from long to the showers area so they're going to pump the brakes call that this is the first one they're going to use round 6 and they're just going to talk about the situation see how Fnatic
সোমোটা কোথায় গেল ভাই সবাই সোমো চল এই ভাই সোমো কম্পি খেলছে 0-0 তে কেস করেছে ভাই
তুই তো শুনলি না ভাই চলো গাইস বাবাই রাতে দেখা সি ইউ 2-0